Hey friends! So I'm going to react to a song and music video that I have seen many times in my life, but I have never really listened to the lyrics and really watched the video from the perspective that I have now, which is being just over 8 years sober. So I thought I would give you guys basically my opinions of the lyrics and what I take out of the video, how I interpret the music video. And if you don't know anything about this video or the lyrics, Sober was written about a friend of the band who was only creative when under the influence. Basically is the backstory that you'll need before we get into the song. So I'll have the lyrics queued up here and let's go. Right, so we have a door opening up, showing parts of a room. And then now we are looking into a creepy room with a big doorway, a man laying in bed. Now the man is standing up in the middle of this room. Now the man is laying down in bed. Okay, as the music is starting to build, we're walking through hallways of said home, showing images of the band there, I think I saw. We have some pipes. Again, just walking through hallways. And we just entered the room from the ceiling, looking at the main person of the video, which is this weird disfigured humanoid type guy who's laying on a bed without a mattress or box spring, and he's looking really disheveled. Okay, and I did hear some lyrics there. So there's a shadow just behind me, shrouding every step I take. So I like this because we know that this song is about addiction, alcoholism or drug use, not sure, but centered around that pretty heavily. Like that's the theme of this song and the music video, I believe. So there's a shadow just behind me. To me, before we get into the meaning of it, to me that is addiction, alcoholism. There's a shadow always behind me. So let's see. Alcohol dependence and alcoholism is depicted here as constantly lurking just behind the protagonist of the song, inescapable and immaterial of his shadow. Makes sense. Shrouding every step I take. I would interpret that as back when I was in active addiction, alcohol basically ruled my life. It made all of my decisions for me. I wasn't able to make plans without keeping alcohol into consideration. I would have to leave at a certain time, or I couldn't eat certain things before I went out, or I wouldn't drink at all so I could get drunker. And it's basically, it colors your whole world. It makes all of your decisions for you when it starts to get really bad. So that's how I would take it. So let's continue. Ooh, making every promise empty. That's what the shadow does, making every promise empty. That is so true. When you're in active addiction and things are getting bad, I know for me, generally, like it started to get to the point where I'd make promises not only to myself, but to other people, and they would end up being empty promises because I just straight up wouldn't stick with what I promised. And especially with promises to yourself. Like I promise, I'm only going to have 2 when I go out tonight, and then you end up getting obliterated, or I'm not going to drink this weekend, but then you do it anyway. So you're constantly breaking promises to yourself. So let's see what the interpretation is. Building on the insidious nature alluded to in the previous lines, the incessant presence undermines the protagonist's ability to follow through on his promises. Yeah. Basically. Okay, so what is this humanoid doing? I see he's knelt down on the floor. Okay, he reaches in the floor and pulls up a box. Let's see what the lyrics are. Pointing every finger at me, waiting like a stalking butler. So pointing every finger at me. His dependence is not something he struggles with completely privately. It has impact beyond just himself. Those around him are aware of the consequences, even if they are not aware of the struggle. So to me, this feels like the main character would be feeling a lot of blame, like everyone is putting all the blame on them. And they have the struggle. They feel the struggle. They know that. but everyone around him is starting to see negative consequences as well. That's how I would take that. Waiting like a stalking butler. I like this. So let's see what this says, and I'll tell you my interpretation of that. It might be the same. The protagonist of the song's drug of choice is always there to take care of him, but he understands on some level, at least, that this is bad for him, yet the thought/desire to use are always close, hence the stalking. Okay, basically that's what I would say as well, waiting like a stalking butler. To me, even now, even though I'm 8 years sober now, the addiction monster or the voice of addiction in the back of my head is always there. It never completely goes away. It gets much quieter, and you don't really hear it speak up very much anymore. But it's still always there. So always waiting. I feel like the addiction monster is always waiting for you to slip up, because it will take hold of you again. That's how a lot of addicts and recovering alcoholics and people like me feel. That's how we feel, that we're never fully away. We're never out of the woods when it comes to that. So waiting like a stalking butler, stalking gets always there. And the butler part is interesting because alcohol has a lot of promises for us, and drugs too, I suppose. But my perspective is coming from alcoholism. So the butler part, I would see that as alcohol has these promises for us that it will take care of us. It'll make us happier. It will pick us up when we're feeling down. It will make all of our anxieties go away for the time that we're drinking. We all know it gets worse the next day, but it's like it's taking care of us. Like it's our butler. It's like, don't worry, like I got you. You're good. You're afraid to dance? Just drink me and you'll dance all night. And like, oh, afraid to talk to that girl? Well, just drink me. Like I got you. You're cool. But spoiler alert, that's all a lie. It's a lie. So waiting like a stalking butler, that sounds like addiction to me. So let's continue with the video. So he just took the box out of the floor, and it is covered. It's tightly wrapped up in ropes. Lots of knots, like don't enter this box. And so what did he say? Waiting like a stalking butler, who upon the finger rests. I would take that as you're trying to put a finger on the butler, like keeping him at bay. Murder now the pattern, must we? Just because the sun has come. Sun, S-O-N. I don't really know what that means. Murder now the pattern, must we? So that sounds like, do we really have to stop this pattern that we're in? Murder the pattern? Murder the pattern would sound to me like you want to kill it. So you don't like the pattern that you're in. Must we? So it seems like there's some struggle there with, okay, you want to break out of that pattern. Addiction, maybe? But must I? Just because the sun has come, I'm not sure what that would mean yet. Just because you have young eyes on you? Not sure. But let's see in the video what's happening. Just because the sun has come. Ah, okay. So we used the curtain as a blanket. That really speaks to, it reminds me of how little self-care you give yourself when you're like in the depths. This reminds me actually of when you're staying the night at different friends' houses after you drink, and your friend doesn't give you a blanket and they're like, okay, good night. And they just leave you the couch, and you're like, okay, so you use like other couch cushions as a blanket. But it doesn't matter because it's like a funny story. That's what that reminds me of. All right, so it looks like he's trying to get into the box. Keep having multiple attempts to try to get in, but it's bound by ropes. And I heard some lyrics. Jesus, won't you fucking whistle something but the past and done. So I thought that was something but what's past and done. Like not Jesus as in talking to Jesus, but as in, this is how I would take it, as like Jesus, like for fuck's sake. So like, let's talk about something else other than the past, because the past is past and done. That's in the past. So that speaks more to murdering the pattern. So it's like feeling frustrated. Jesus, won't you fucking whistle something other than the past? Like, let's murder this pattern. That's how I would take it. Here, he is asking for hope for the future. He chafes at the repeated regurgitation of quotes and tenets of the past, most likely a reference to 12-step programs and their reliance on Jesus. Sure. Okay. I guess so. I'm not sure, where this contribution came from, if that's like the legit meaning of that. But I know with Tool lyrics, I know that they just leave it up to interpretation. They're like, this is art. Figure out as you will. So that's my interpretation of that line. So what else though? He doesn't feel that references to a book written 2,000 years ago are particularly applicable to his life. And as such, dependence on said book as the heart of his recovery is futile. Give him something tangible going forward. All right, sure, yeah, I could see that because I hear frustration around the pattern of what's past and the past is done. All right, so we're back into the video of our humanoid guy trying to get into the box. I like that. Where he's like, okay, I can't get in. The easiest way is to just cut through. Screw trying to figure it out. And then also with the strum of the guitar at that same time was to break open the box using the easy way. Not trying to use logic, just do it the easy way. Which is a theme around addiction as well. In the way of you have tough feelings and strong emotions and you don't really want to work through them. Well, just drink. It's the easy way. It's the easy way to cope. That's how I see that. So we're going into the chorus. Why can't we not be sober? So I always thought this line as, why can't I just be sober? That's how I always took it whenever I heard the song, growing up. But now I'm thinking this is different. Confusing double negative aside, the protagonist is essentially posing one of the questions that those who struggle with depression and substance dependence often have trouble with. Why not? If I want to live my life in a drunken haze, why can't I? Who are you to tell me I'm wrong for not wanting to face the world sober? All right. I've never interpreted that line in that way, but of course that's what it's saying. Why can't we not be sober? Basically that, like, why can't I just continue to be like this? Well, I had the same thought, and the answer was because my life ended up in shambles. So I had to stop drinking and using in order for my life to be colorful and happy and to be my true authentic self again. So that's why I wasn't able to just say fuck it and just continue to drink and do whatever I want for the rest of my life. But that line, that's what someone who was in the depths of it, who was really struggling with continuing and not, and just in that dark place. All right, so he opened the box and he was rubbing his knees. Okay, so we're looking in the box. I see a bit of flashes of blue. So that's like the first time. I think this is the first time that he's opened the box. Some blue flashes. I don't know, is that excitement? Like what's about to happen? And he says, I just want to start this over. I think he recognizes that things are getting bad in the lyrics, not in the video. In the video, he's only just starting to like get into the box. I feel like the box might be like his drug of choice. But in the lyrics, why can't we not be sober? I just want to start this over. Sounding like he knows things are getting bad. He's in that struggle. Why can't it just be like 10 years ago or whatever, when I wasn't feeling this way, when things were blissful, when I was drinking and there was no problems in my life? That's how I see that lyric. But let's continue with the video. See, looking into the box, and then he's sitting in a chair and the chair lifts off and he looks like relaxed in that way where his feet flop. That to me is he's getting high or getting drunk. He's under the influence. So that's what's in the box. Shot of the chair floating up. And what did he say? Why can't we drink forever? I just want to start this over. Again, speaks to me as in like, why can't we just drink forever? Why does it have to end up being negatively life altering? I just want to start it over. Why can't we just drink forever? It's that anger of really just that. Yeah, why can't we? Well, because it's drugs and alcohol, like it will eventually start to poison our lives and our mind if we were to go down that road and have it get worse and worse, which generally that's what would happen with a lot of people who struggle with addiction. So let's get back to the video. He's looking in the box, curious. Oh, going in the box again. Okay, so yeah, all right, so he's going into the box. Oh, he's starting to wander around his room or apartment. He looks maybe a little wasted. He's rubbing a wall. Maybe he wants to see, okay, it looks like he's peering through the wall, like he wants to see what's on the outside of that room. And that last little shot there, he was not quite going through a doorway. The doorway's dark. Maybe that's the unknown. He's maybe going to walk through that door. Oh, and he does. Okay, so he looks a little apprehensive, like he's peeking through the door. He maybe wants to go through. And remember, he just got high or drunk a bunch. So it's like maybe he has the bravery now or the euphoria where he wants to go leave his room and explore more. So maybe that's where it ties into, remember where in the about section for this video, the song is about a friend of the band who felt they could only create when they were loaded. So I don't know, maybe that this part of the music video is like, okay, well, the only time that this humanoid creature is able to navigate their world or to do something other than the mundane, staying in the room, is when they're under the influence. So then comes the struggle of like, but like all these positive things can happen when I'm under the influence, but it's starting to ruin my life. So you're stuck in that like bad space. I am just a worthless liar. So starting to see the deterioration of self-esteem. But let's continue the video. I'm just an imbecile. Okay, so still along the lines of that. So it looks like our creature has left that room. So let's continue. Ooh, we just shook a little bit there. Oh, going into the box. He closes the box lid. Oh, and we pan back up and he is closing the box himself with all the ropes. So that's speaking to, okay, he's indulging, but he's like, no, I can't do this. I'm going to lock this box up. I got to stop. See, he's doing the box back up again. All right, so what are the lyrics accompanying this? I will only complicate you, trust in me and fall as well. I will find a center in you. I will chew it up and leave. I will work to elevate you just enough to bring you down. So this is me when I was in active addiction, and so many of other people who especially watch my channel, you'll understand this part where it's basically saying like, you don't want to be with me. I'm just going to fuck up your life. Like, stay away. I will find what makes you tick and I will destroy it. I will be manipulative. I'm worthless. You don't want to be around me because I will chew you up and leave. So let's see the interpretation. Furthering the self-awareness and self-deprecating cycle, the protagonist warns off any potential allies, friends, attempts to get close enough to help him. There is an implication that he is addressing potential romantic involvement, but the same holds true for future platonic relationships. Yeah, starting to deteriorate even further. So we'll see what our guy is doing. Let's back it up 2 seconds. So, okay, so we close the box. He says, I don't want to go in there again. It's fucking me up. So he's walking through some hallways. He looks a little nervous, but walking around some more. He looks down a hallway. So he's exploring his house more. Now I did notice something, only because I know it's coming up later on in the video, because it's starting to jog my memory. And see, when as soon as he leaves his room, saying he's going in the hallway, he doesn't notice, but see, he walks past this brown window. Didn't even notice. He just walked on by. So that's going to come up later in the video. But yes, he's looking nervous, like a little, what's going on, walking around the hallways. I'm assuming he's high or drunk as he's saying these lyrics. Okay, so he is carrying the box that's all tied up, so it's looking like, I don't know, maybe he's gonna, okay, not sure yet what he's gonna do with that box. He's carrying it away, maybe to put back down in the floor in the hole that he got it from. But we're into new lyrics. So, Mother Mary, won't you whisper something but the past and done? All right, so maybe it does have something to do with religion in some sort of way, because remember earlier I thought he was using the word Jesus as in like a way to be frustrated, or a word that you would say when you're frustrated, like Jesus, like, oh, for fuck's sakes. But he says Mother Mary, so maybe it does. I'm not sure. Comment below, of course, any of your interpretations of this as well. But so he's saying it again, but saying it to Mother Mary now. So maybe earlier, Jesus, won't you fucking whistle? Maybe that was like, because I was like, why whistle? Is that a like, let me know you're here? Let me know that you're real? Mother Mary, won't you whisper? To show a sign that you're here, that I'm not alone, maybe? Whisper something but. So whisper anything but what's past and done. So again, I don't want to rehash the past. I want to get out of the past. Okay, and then he says it again. So let's get back to the video. He's exasperated. See? So whatever's behind, like in that window in the wall with the brown, something moved inside while he was showing being tired. He was wiping his brow. Or rubbing his head, but there was something in that window. It's not a door because there's no bottom, like the door doesn't reach the floor. There's like a ledge, so to me it's like a window. Okay, so this is a pulley that's pulling like a trip wire or pulling a wire. Okay, and then he puts the box back down in the hole in the floor and he shakes, looks at his hand and shakes. So that to me is like, look what I'm becoming. Okay, and see a hand reaching down. I think that's in the floor, because like underneath a floor, like it's the floorboards and then it's like the structure of a house, and that's sort of the beams, and you see the wire running through. But remember, there was a pulley, and the pulley moved. I'm going to back up a bit. See what I mean? Oh, not that. Okay. See, the pulley moved to the left, which would straighten the wire out. But we also know the next cube over from the pulley one is the box hole where you would pull the box out. So imagine lifting a box out. If it's on the wire and you lift the box up, the pulley's going to move that way to, when the box is lifted up. And when the box is brought back down in the hole, the pulley would move over because it's as if the box is pressing on the wire. So, see, he puts the box back in. He looks at his hand. But remember, he just put the box back in and the lever went back over. See, and then it hands over. You can see the wire running through each section. I don't know what these sections are. It's like a lot of like garbage under there. But he does say this lyric, why can't we sleep forever? So remember earlier, he said, why can't we drink forever? Now he's saying, why can't we sleep forever? So that, to me, is when you're first in your drinking career, not really, bad things don't really happen. Sure, hangovers happen, but like overall your life is going pretty good. So you're like, why can't we just keep doing this forever, guys? Like it is so fun. So then later, in the next time that he sings the chorus, he says, why can't we sleep forever? It's not, why can't we drink forever anymore? It's sounding like it's not fun anymore. Now, and you know, when you're depressed, you want to sleep forever. So now it sounds like the depression is kicking in, and he's like, why can't I sleep forever? I just want to start this over. So before, earlier in the song, it sounded more happy, but still, of course, a struggle. But now it's starting to sound like depression is starting to kick in. And in the video, we see our protagonist is like, I don't want what's in that box anymore, even though I'm probably going to keep doing it. But I'm going to put that box away. And that wire is connected to other things. I'm not quite sure about that yet, but let's get back to the video. Okay, yep, back in the box. Things are blurry though. See, lifting off, getting high or drunk. Shot of him in the bed where he said, why can't we sleep forever? And then showing him lifting off again. In bed. Oh, now he's back in the hallway. Oh, the hallway went dark. So remember, he was leaving the room, exploring when he was drunk, but now it appears that he's exploring, but things are getting dark, which is the nature of addiction, where it's progressive. Things will start to get more and more dark, and you'll get more and more negative effects in your life and in your mind and your spirit and your body. So I'll continue. Yeah, see, he just like went like that, like sadness to me. Now it looks like he's back on the floor. Maybe he's gonna dig to try to cope to get the box again. Oh, there's his hand. He's trying to find the box. Camera pans out, box is gone. You see the wire is going across. So it's in a neutral position. So we're coming up to the bridge where it's the same lyrics that we read before. So let's just watch the video and see what happens with this wire, if I can get any more clues. Okay, so remember, something moved in that window. And he's back in the hallway looking tired. And then he notices. He's like, wait a second, who's in that window? And he's like, okay, it's a dirty window. Let's see what's inside. So he's trying to see. And he's going to wipe away. And what is that? It's like a disfigurement. Okay, and then he gets drunk again. He's wandering around, getting drunk again. Oh, he looks so sad. Oh. This is anguish. So he got high again, so much so that he fell and split his head open. So that could be a metaphor for like it being too much. Overdose, maybe? I'm not sure if this is, again, alcohol or drugs, but it sounds like it's reached a breaking point maybe. And he is, as a standing up here, as a figure, he looks in more anguish. There's a lot of shaking going on. So I'll rewind it to like 2 seconds and see. Yeah, see, like, oh. Yeah. See, and he's picking at his clothes, like uncomfortable. All right, so. Okay, so we're into the chorus again, saying, why can't we sleep forever? So he sounds like he's staying in that depressive stage. Okay, so what is our humanoid friend doing? So he's opening that window and seeing that creature. Okay, hold up. Let's back up. What is in there? He's exposing this weird, demented... He has nails in him. It's like he's nailed to the wall. He looks very disfigured and sad. I get like a sad... And it's being hidden in his walls. Is this part of who he is? Is this his old self, or is this guilt and shame? Guilt and shame is a huge thing that comes up with people who are in an active addiction. It's immense. Sometimes the feelings of guilt and shame when you're sober and you start to feel that. Maybe that's what this is, because he's in the depths of it, but he's starting to see the guilt and shame. Maybe that's what that is. It's ugly to look at, which this figure is ugly to look at, and the feeling guilt and shame is ugly to pay attention to and feel. Maybe. Hey, so we got this weird ass creature. Let's see. I don't know. Very dramatic. All right. So we had some weird creature thing with an eyeball poking out, and then we're in the hallway of his home. I'm assuming it's his home, and I see a figure at the end of a hallway. He has a cane. There's the cane. Okay. That was real quick. Let's bring it back a little bit and slow it down. Okay, so creature at the end of the hallway, he has a cane. Is this a new creature? Is this him? It's slowed down, so... Okay, so he's propelling himself like on a skateboard. I don't know who that is. It's like he doesn't have any legs. So is that him? Let's keep watching. So it looks like this next scene, I see we're in a different scene now. Let's see. All right, so the camera was underneath his bed where he's laying in bed, and we can see up through the bed, through the coils of where a mattress used to be. And it looks like we're looking at the roof, or this is ceiling, where there's a hole in it. Oh, we're going in. Okay. There's a shot of the pulley that we saw earlier that's in his floorboards. I don't know if that is a metaphor of like keeping things in balance. I'm not sure what that wire could be, but I know that the wire moves whenever the character uses. Whenever they pick up the box, the wire moves in one way or the other. I don't know what the wire might be connected to. It look like it was empty compartments. I'm not sure, but when we go up into his ceiling, I don't know is the ceiling where the pulley is, or is that just a good transition into something unrelated to his ceiling? I don't know, but let's keep watching. All right, so it looks like us, the audience, are getting more of a image of what's in these compartments with all the nails, and it's this weird guy who's putting the nails in. Who is he? Okay, and then we transition back down into that weird monster with that one eyeball, and it looks like he has something. A telescope on the back of someone. That was a quick shot, but let's play that again. So he's like, looks like a slave creature, which doesn't look like our humanoid guy. It looks like a different character, but it looks like he has like a telescope or something on his back. And the monster with the weird long eye is looking through it and adjusting or something. But that position that slave guy is in is like a humiliating position. I don't know if that's all that scene is supposed to be, is to show humiliation of being in that tied down in that pose of being bent over. If that means anything, I don't know, but just more imagery. All right, and so that was an image of an actual human moving around, looking insane. So I think we're going into the depths of addiction, maybe, or feeling like your world's spinning out of control. I don't know, but looks like we have another flash of shame in that window, getting a clearer look. I'm not sure. Let's see. Oh, but also to the lyrics, "I want what I want" is the outro. So how I would interpret that is like, well, I want what I want. Like I can't help it. This is me. Sort of like succumbing to the addiction, maybe. I want what I want. But then succumbing to what? Succumbing to drinking forever or succumbing to sleeping forever? Do you like, you know what you want. You don't want to live the past again over and over again and be caught in that loop, but you also, it's like you're stuck in the middle. That's just what I get from this. So, okay, let's just see if there's an interpretation. This repeated phrase could signify that this cycle can't be stopped. He has this issue with alcohol and drug abuse. Despite his efforts to escape it, sometimes there's no choice in what we desire. Once he sobers up again, then his addiction takes over. Okay, so stuck in that loop. Yeah, that's how I would see that as well. I want what I want. That can change depending on what state of mind you're in. It would speak to two different types of people or two different states of mind that one person is in. But let's continue this video. Okay, we get that creature, we get some more band members, I'm assuming. Okay, so there's a pipe with some organs. It's like very visceral feeling, or looking into, because those are pipes in the house. I don't know if that would mean looking into or having to be literal with, or maybe just feeling very visceral. Let's back it up because there's another image I saw. Okay, it was this. I think that's the guy with the cane. I don't want to miss that. Okay, yeah, it's the... Okay. See, that's not the humanoid guy. That's a different character, I think. But it was that character with no legs, walking with a cane on what looked like a skateboard. I don't know if that is a metaphor for being like differently abled, because he's still able to get around, but in a different way, unlike normal, like unlike by walking. He has to use a cane. I don't know what that would mean. The pipes with the organs flowing through, is that realizing that you're human, like a very visceral, existential realization? Maybe like things are starting to really seem really real. So it seems like something's about to happen because he's becoming more in reality. But at the same time, I'm seeing images of the band, I'm assuming as band members because it's humans, with blurry and shaking. So it seems like a descent into madness. I don't know, but let's just continue to the end. It's so squishy. I like that. Okay, more shape. Oh, going in the box again. Okay, that shot. That is the end of the pulley and the wire. That's the last box. So remember earlier, it showed the pulley box and it panned over to the compartment where the addiction substance box was in. Then it panned over to another cube and another cube. That was the very last box or compartment or cube. And it looked like it's not a lever. It's like, maybe it is, I'm not sure, but it was shaking like it was about to break. See, it's the last cube. It's shaking because the box is being pulled up and pulled down. I'm not sure, but we're on shaky ground here. Oh, shaking in bed. Oh, and then he stopped shaking. Oh, and I see the blue light again. Ooh. Then he stops. Does he die? Then I see a blue light. Because remember, we saw the blue light at the very first time that he opened the box. We see a little bit of the blue light at the very last shot of the box. I don't know if that is just there to show first and last. Did he die? He just went limp in bed. Did he give in and stop struggling and just gave in to it? But what did he give into? Continuing to use and drink? Or did he give in to sleeping forever or dying? I don't know, but that's the end of that. That was a wild ride. That was great. That really spoke to a lot of what it's like to be living in active addiction and have that struggle. Like I said earlier, lots of people have lots of different interpretations of the lyrics, the video itself, and I'm very curious what your thoughts are of the video. I'm going to leave a link to the music video in the description, but you can just type in Tool Sober and watch the video yourself. And yeah, let me know what you think of this video and the lyrics. Does it speak to you as well, like it did me? And thank you for watching. And remember, you can do hard things, you deserve happiness, and you are loved. Oh, hey. So I'm going to react to Tool Sober. I'm not drunk. Hi.